Hi, my name is Robbie. I've been listening to all the music one artist at a time, and I've listened to Fishboy. This is Eric Michener. I admire you so much for your dedication to creation. I feel that you have the need or passion to create no matter the form, but I wonder with music, because you have so many other forms in which you've created, is there ever been a time where you feel like you were going to quit music, or what's the closest that you came if you felt like you were going to quit music?
When I had a kid 6 years ago, I was very, very worried that I would not have time to focus on my child and be a creative artist. Like, I thought, will I have to make a choice between one of those things? And that lasted for a second, right? And that became the inspiration for this album, Wait's Giving, right? Which the main character does do that. He gives it up. He has a kid and he buries his last album in a time capsule and lives his life for 40 more years regretting that he did that, because that's what I assumed would happen to me. You see in this album, not that I need to promote this album so much, but you see that his decision of giving up music affects everyone. So that's effectively me living out that fantasy of giving up music, which I did not
it's like
do.
Writing it down to get it out of your head.
Exactly.
It's a beautiful way to look at it.
Away from the wall where the paintings lie.
I find, especially like with your presence online, you're a storyteller. I mean, obviously all of your albums are stories, so that feels built into it. But with your storytelling, have you at one point in time tried a different version of storytelling? Like,
yeah.
Or has it always been music for you?
So I drew comics for a long time, and my album, An Elephant, has a full visual comic that goes along with it, and I dove deep into that. There's some details in the comic that are not in the album, and then my album, Art Guards, it's hand in hand. You can read the comic. If you get the album, there's a full pull-out comic that tells it visually. So I've tried that. I've always thought that I could adapt one of my things into a movie or a short film. That takes a lot of extra people, right? And I don't have the personality to convince people to do things for me. I'm definitely a person who can sit alone in a room and write it with my imagination, you know?
You mentioned earlier you thought you'd never be able to get a band together. How long has it been since you have been a band instead of a solo act?
So there's been a different lineup every single Fishboy album. I'm such a slow writer that we release an album and then the band somehow falls apart, and that's why there's a big gap between all our albums, because I got to get a band back together, and then I got to rehearse the band, train the band, write the songs, put out the album, and then lo and behold, that band falls apart again. I'm sure some of you can relate. So after those bands fall apart, I often think, you know what, I'm never gonna have a band again, because that band was so good. But you know, life finds a way, as the 1993 Jurassic Park.
I was halfway out the door when
I want to show this off. This was
tell the story about Nam.
Okay, so
A bridge.
Robbie reviewed my entire discography, and he chose my least favorite release to be the one to start with. And I have so many extra copies of this that I painted his portrait on top of my portrait, because we look similar, right? Dudes with beards and glasses.
At least the same height.
So I'm gifting this to him. It says Robbie instead of Nam, so that he can have it, and so that it is out of my closet.